When I opened my eyes, I was floating in warm, shallow water, sand scraping my hands, my throat raw from yelling into nothing. If you've ever needed a reminder that life can change in a heartbeat, that kindness and second chances matter, please like, comment, share, and follow. It keeps these stories alive. The sun burned my skin as I dragged myself to my knees, coughing saltwater, trying to understand. There was no wreckage, no smoke, no bodies, just endless turquoise sea and a perfect, empty beach. My heart hammered so loud I almost didn't hear the soft groan behind me. I turned. A woman staggered out from the palms, navy blouse torn at the shoulder, hair full of leaves and grass, skin scratched and already turning red under the sun. Even like that, I knew her instantly. Ardalina Royce. My boss. The woman everyone in the company called La Jefa de Hierro, the one whose signature decided if you kept your job or not, the one whose smile was rarer than a raise. And now she was here, on some forgotten island in the middle of nowhere, looking at me like I was the only real thing left in the world. She stumbled toward me, chin trembling, eyes wide with something between terror and relief. I caught her before she fell. For one absurd second I was holding the woman who used to make me sweat during performance reviews, and she was shaking in my arms like a scared kid. We checked each other for broken bones, tried to think straight, tried to understand. The sky was too blue, the ocean too calm, like it was mocking us. Ardalina kept saying, calm and professional at first, that the airline would notice we never landed, that the company would report us missing, that the Mexican Navy searches these waters all the time. But every time she repeated it, her voice cracked a little more. By midday we had coconuts, a stick to lean on, and a shallow cave that smelled of bat guano but gave shade. The heat pressed down like a hand on the back of your neck. I watched the ice queen I'd worked for 3 years melt in front of me, hands trembling while she tried to knot her torn blouse, jumping every time a palm frond rattled, whispering, Dios, under her breath when she thought I couldn't hear. Night came fast, painting the sky orange and purple like a cheap postcard. We made fire the hard way, rubbing sticks until our palms blistered. The little flame threw shadows on the cave wall, and for the first time ever, Ardalina really looked at me, not the employee, not the assistant from accounting, me. Her voice was soft, almost shy. My papa was a pilot for Aeromexico. I've hated flying my whole life, but I never told anyone. Makes me look weak. Then, quieter, do you think they'll find us? I wanted to lie. I wanted to say of course, any day now. But the ocean just laughed at us, endless and empty. I shook my head. She let out a long breath, shoulders falling. Then she asked, so quietly I almost missed it, if they don't come, will you stay with me? I don't want to die alone on this damn island. That night we slept shoulder to shoulder for warmth, the jungle full of noises we didn't know. I woke up a dozen times listening to her breathe, thinking how insane it was that the woman who once made grown men sweat was now curled against me, trusting me to keep watch. Days bled into weeks. Sun, thirst, salt in every cut. We learned the island together, where the coconuts fell easiest, how to twist the tops off with a rock, where rainwater collected in banana leaves after the quick afternoon storms. I found a little stream one day, hidden behind vines, and when we reached the clear pool Ardalina actually laughed, this bright, startled sound I'd never heard in any boardroom. She splashed water on her face like a kid and smiled at me with wet lashes, and something in my chest turned over. We stopped talking about rescue. It hurt too much. Instead we talked about everything else. She told me she'd buried herself in work after her divorce, that she'd forgotten how to have friends, that sometimes she sat in her corner office in Polanco and cried where no one could see. She said she'd noticed me from my first day, how I never gave up, how I was kind even when people didn't deserve it, but she'd been scared to show favoritism. One afternoon I found her sitting at the water's edge, arms around her knees, staring at the horizon like it had personally betrayed her. Tears cut clean tracks through the salt and dirt on her cheeks. When I sat beside her she didn't bother hiding them. I'm scared we'll just disappear, she whispered. That the world will keep turning and no one will even remember my name. I took her hand. You're not disappearing. I see you. Every day, I see you. She turned and cried against my shoulder, really cried, the kind that shakes your whole body. I held her until the sun burned the tears dry. We built a better shelter, learned to spot ripe papayas, made up stupid games to pass the afternoons. During storms we huddled together under palm leaves while thunder rolled like artillery across the water. Some nights she traced the scars on my hands from opening coconuts and told me stories about growing up in Guadalajara, about her abuelita's cocina and the smell of tamales on Christmas. Weeks in, we climbed the highest hill at dawn. The sky turned gold and rose, and the wind carried the salt smell of the sea. Ardalina stood beside me, hair whipping across her face, fingers brushing mine. We didn't say much anymore about going home. We just watched the sun come up like it was the first time anyone had ever seen it. Then one morning, the air felt different, softer, cooler. We were collecting driftwood on the south beach when we heard it, the low, beautiful roar of engines. A Coast Guard helicopter, bright orange against the sky, circling lower. Ardalina grabbed my arm so hard her nails left marks. Her eyes filled, but this time with something that looked almost like fear of leaving. They winched us up one by one. She went first, reaching back for my hand until the very last second. As the island fell away beneath us, green and perfect and cruel, she leaned across the noise and shouted over the rotor wash. "Thank you for staying with me." I shouted back, "Thank you for letting me." We landed in Puerto Vallarta 2 hours later, sunburned, thinner, half wild. Cameras flashed, families cried, reporters shouted questions. But Ardalina Royce, my terrifying, unbreakable boss, walked straight through the chaos, found me in the crowd, and hugged me like she'd never let go again. Sometimes life breaks you open just to show you what was inside all along.